Welcome back to Olivia Sose Reads. I'm your host, Olivia Sose, and since we're in the season of love, we need to have a very honest, very necessary conversation.
Rise in this Prince Charming narratives, we see the Odogwu, the powerful, wealthy, larger-than-life man, and the Achalugo, the beautiful woman he chooses to sweep off her feet. It's the ultimate fantasy. He solves all her problems, showers her with grand gestures, and eventually marries her. We watch these stories and we fall in love. We shout goals and intentional man. But today I want us to pause. I want us to ask, is this actually love, or is just a well-packaged trap? Welcome to the Valentine season, the Valentine edition of Olivia Sose Reads. Now, there's a dangerous misconception that if a man comes into your life and saves you with grand gestures, it's the peak of romance. But here's the reality for many women. Grand gestures often mask true intent. They act as a smoke screen. When a man is busy solving all your financial problems or overwhelming you with gifts, it blinds you. You don't probe, you don't test his character, you don't ask, why is he doing this? We even see this in real life. Example, the marriage of Regina and Nwoko. It's the real life Odogwu and Achalugo, right? But we have to look deeper. Look at how that ends. Let's look at how that ends. Does this whole experience ending with a ring means that the intention was good? Because we see this a lot, right? A man comes into a woman's life, sweeps her off her feet, and then he marries her, and everybody was like, yes, intentional man. But does a relationship ending in marriage means that the other party had good intentions? Take in case Regina Daniel. Or was it just a powerful man securing an asset? Was that what it was? Because as we have seen the relationship unravel, we all saw when they got married. We all saw their marriage. My husband bought this for me. My husband did that for me. Oh my God, not only Regina Daniel go advise us for this life. And then we all saw the crash. It happened right before our eyes. When you look at it now, honestly speaking, from the very beginning, I said, from the very beginning, and I've never. You could search my social media history. I have never. It's not something that I look up to. It's not a model marriage for me. It has never been a model marriage for me. A man that old with a girl that young, it was always a red flag for me, irrespective of, he married her now. As how many? Jesus, when would you women understand that marriage does not equal good intention? Marriage does not now mean it is right. Marriage does not justify, or it doesn't make what we have said null and void. Actually, it further buttresses our point. Because marriage could be like a very beautiful prison, and that ring on your finger could be a wonderful cuff. That's all it could be. So people saying, marriage, he eventually married her. Marriage does not mean all is well. It does not mean all is well. Sometimes the best thing a man can do for you is to not marry you. I swear to God. You look at it back in the past and you'll be like, now God save me, honestly. So we need to start looking at the kind of marriage being offered, not just the fact that there is a wedding. I want us to take a closer look at a book that shaped my life, right? I grew up in boarding school, FGC Abloma. Shout out to Abloma girls, wherever you're listening from, if you are listening to me. And we used to have like a very active reading culture over there. Our classmates would bring books, they would share with us, the ones that are not stingy. We used to have exchange. If you bring a book, I read it. If I bring a book, you read it. So we had that culture. And somehow I had stumbled on A Lineage of Grace by Francine Rivers. Especially the story of Bathsheba and David, titled Unspoken. It's a mini series in the book. Now, I read this as a teenager. Please, it's very important that you understand that I read this book as a teenager in secondary school, and it completely colored my perspective about the story of Bathsheba and David. Now, Francine Rivers uses her creative license to humanize Bathsheba. In her version, Bathsheba had a crush on David since childhood. She's portrayed as a willing participant, finally getting her one through love. If you read the book, you're going to see that in the book, Bathsheba was in love with David right from when she was a child, and now she's gotten David. I understand that Francine Rivers was trying to humanize and give a voice to Bathsheba. She was trying to tell the story from Bathsheba's perspective. But as an adult, as a 31-year-old woman, I'll be 31 in March, I know that's not right. I know that's not what happened. Reading the Bible, when you read the Bible, the original narration of Bathsheba and David, and when you have seen the character of God, when you have seen how God acts and how God compensates people, because God is very consistent in his character, right? One of the most consistent. God is so consistent. His character is true, through and through. You realize that Bathsheba's story did not quite act. It's not adding up. It's not adding up. We see Bathsheba as this adulteress, from what is narrated in the Bible. But even in the Bible, guilt is not given to Bathsheba, just that her own story is not told. It's told from David's perspective. He sees a beautiful woman, he wants her, he takes her, which is what a lot of powerful men do. In fact, at the end of the story, when I read the Bible, without going back to the book, I just see that David abused his power as a powerful man, as the king of Israel, which is why God sent Nathan. God allowed David to do everything that he did. God was watching him. When he slept with Bathsheba, God did not say anything to him. When Bathsheba told him, I'm pregnant, and then he plotted against her husband, God did not say anything to him. It was when the baby was born, God came and said, you, David, you, after I gave you everything you wanted in life, you still went and disturbed this poor woman and her husband. And that's how I know that Bathsheba was definitely not a willing participant. As a man wooed you before, especially a powerful man, and people say, she grew now, she married him now, did David not marry Bathsheba after he killed her husband? He did. But does that now make it right? Even God came and said, you murderer, David. You murderer. So, marriage does not equal rights. That, he married her does not equal that it is now proper. It doesn't equal that it's now proper. So we see this, not just in the Bible, but now we have these examples in real life where men abuse their power while trying to chase a woman, while wooing a woman. When you look at these things critically, you can see the red flags. But no, these days we're not seeing the red flags. You're like, oh my god, he's so intentional. He's so intentional. He will come, he will buy your company. You know, in all these books and all these stories, there's this new real short movies where they are just displaying how a rich man will come. They have the same storyline and everybody loves it. We're just addicted to watching it. A rich man will come, you're poor, he's going to buy your company, he's going to stalk you, it's basically stalking. It is basically stalking. And it is abuse of power, abuse of wealth. We're like, oh my god, I just wish someone would come and take away my problems. And it's not out of place, seeing as we are very poor. We're a poor country. We're a very poor country. So red flags become green flags. We're a very poor country. So reading this story again as an adult, reading this book again, especially Unspoken, it made me very uncomfortable. Because as an adult, I can see that Bathsheba was on her own. She was baiting David. You saw her. Because you should have been at war. This is why you should have been at war. And you took her. We don't know if Bathsheba struggled throughout the night. We don't know if when David brought her into his palace and said, lay on the bed, I want to fuck you, if she was willing. We don't know none of this. We don't know that. But what we do know is that God watched all of this and he was greatly displeased. He said, you have all the sheep in the world, David, but you went and you took a man's one sheep. And the fact that after, their firstborn died and then Solomon was born, God had a special interest in Solomon. Shows me that God was compensating Bathsheba somehow for what David had put her through, what life had put her through. Right? So that story and what Francine Rivers had done is that she had romanticized a very horrific abuse of power. The Bible doesn't say that Bathsheba loved David. Neither does it say that David loved Bathsheba. But in her story, she said there was love. There was no love. And when you look at that story, you see that this is not love. This is just a man who is abusing his power because he can. So people say, if a man wants to, he can. Because he has the ability to. It doesn't mean he loves you. It does not mean he loves you. It does not mean he loves you. Right? In those days, women, they don't have agency. How was Bathsheba going to say no to a king? Especially when her husband was away at war and she had no protection. When we rewrite this sort of stories to make women a willing participant in her own objectification, we're gaslighting ourselves as women. We are. We're turning a predator-prey dynamic into a soulmate story. Bathsheba was not David's soulmate. David was not her soulmate. That man saw her and came and altered her life. And God said, I will compensate you. You're not just going to be one person that he just came and snatched and took away and changed your life. No. I will make you significant. That is what God did there. God repaired that abuse of power. So I know that Bathsheba must have cried unto her God and said, God, look at what has happened to me. Because that is the character of God, to help the helpless. So I know that in that situation, Bathsheba was helpless. She did not love David and say, oh my God, my one true love, my one true chance to be with the king. Rubbish. Rubbish. Right? So this is why we must save the stories that we consume. We're being fed red flags. Control, isolation, objectification, and we're calling it romance. We need to stop falling in love at power imbalance. When you look at Regina's and Nwoko's story, you see this great power imbalance. This is a senator who has been a senator for a very long time. This is a young girl she was a kid actress, a teenage actress. And this man knew her since she was a child. He knew her before she was born. He knew her parents. Do you understand? He was an adult when Regina was born. And then he went ahead, pursued Regina, got married to Regina. And we said, oh, this is love, oh, this is love, oh, as the fourth wife. And we all said this is love. The general consensus on the internet was this is love. We are mad. That's the only thing I can think about. That we have turned mad. We have become mad. That you see control, you see isolation, you see predation, basically, and you say this is love. You see objectification. See, as long as he's giving me money, now what is my own? As long as he's giving me money, what is my own? As long as he's providing, what is my own? May God help us so that we can provide for ourselves. And if we have the ability, actually, providing for yourself does not even mean that you're safe from this thing, because I've seen women who have their own money, women who have enterprises, and they fall into these things. They submit themselves to these things. They close their eyes because a man is involved. So it's not even about money. I think at this point it's about self-worth. Self-worth and awareness. Self-worth and awareness. If the only reason the Achalugo is with Odogwu is because he holds all the cards and all the cash, that's not a fairy tale. That's a hostage situation. That is a hostage situation. I mean, because look at Regina. When she wanted to divorce, are you not seeing the bra? Is it finalized? Is she now free? Is she now free? If she was such a willing, free participant who got married to this man out of her free will, why can't she not live in peace? Why can't she not live in peace? Why is there so much tussle when she says, I'm done? Why is there so much oppression when she says, I'm done? I finally realized that I don't want to be here. If it is such a wonderful, she's willing, she was an adult, she agreed. Why is the exit not as easy? It's like when you join cults. The mouth will then tell you when you want to join. Not be the same mouth then go take do when you want to leave. I remember on TikTok a woman says, the man you get married to is not the same man you divorce. The man you get married to is not the same man you divorce. Even when there is no such, great power imbalance, divorce is messy. Now imagine between Regina and Ned. Imagine. Just look at it. And you say that was love. You saw that and you said, this is my ideal marriage. You're not okay. You are not okay. So we must sieve the stories that we consume. We must, including real life stories. We must sieve it. Everybody is now comfortable with getting married to old, richer men. They know they tell us, your body could tell you. Now experience could tell you. Because some of you don't want to learn from other people's experiences. You want to be in there. You want to be in that situation. Time and time again, we have seen that when there is such a great power imbalance, the woman suffers, the lesser person suffers. Oh, if he loves you, everything is alright. A man's love is what you want to bank on. Something that can change. A man's love is not like God's love. It does not refresh. It's not new every morning. It is not. A man's faithfulness is not like God's faithfulness. It is not new every morning. Tomorrow he can decide that he has seen another Achalugo. So Old Achalugo, step aside. What are you going to do? Me, I cannot discern a person's secret intentions. We cannot, actually, not just me. You and I cannot discern a person's secret intentions. So a person comes, sweeps you off your feet, but you don't know what they have in mind. You don't know because you're so distracted. You're not trying to even discover who is this person, how is this person. When he's telling you nicely, oh, my wives don't work, my wives must bear me 3 children, you're not seeing the red flags and all that nonsense. But there are some people that also come into your lives, they seem like the perfect person, and we're not able to see, like, is this person after my good or not? So I have developed 3 guiding principles that I use. These are my safety nets. No matter how much an Odogwu offers, these stay in place. These remain. These are my non-negotiables. They are my non-negotiables. They are like my safety nets, right? So no matter how much a man comes into my life and does everything he does, I have these 3 safety nets that keep me safe. Number 1, financial autonomy. No full independence on a man. I must have my own primary source of income, because money is power. I will not willingly give it up, right? I had an ex who was very well to do, good to me, and things happened, and I said, oh my God, I'm so grateful that I have my own money, because I could walk out. I could say, I could shut that door because I had my own money. When you're in a relationship with a man and he's saying, oh, I don't want my wife to work, you're an actress, you're a singer, suddenly you cannot do none of that, you're in trouble. So you must have financial autonomy. Number 2, physical boundaries, right? Or sexual autonomy. I have had no's. There are things that I would never do sexually. So if a man comes into my life and he requires that I do these things, instantly it's a red flag. Number 1, anal sex. I will never have anal sex. It's not beneficial to me. It's not. So why? I'm not exploring. No, it's a hard no for me. Number 2, I don't do drugs. Bodily autonomy. I don't do drugs. I don't do weed. I don't do none of that. And if a man comes into my life and is trying to influence me into doing those things, I know that this is not a good person for me. This is not a good person for me, right? It could be something as simple as even phone sex, right? This same ex that I had, that I'm talking about, that I mentioned earlier, would, call me sometimes on the phone, on video calls, and would chat, and he'd be like, oh, we're just gonna be spicy. And, I liked it because I thought he liked it, having your partner want you, that's sexy. Well, one day, I was not in the mood. I didn't want to show you my boobs on camera. So when he asked for it, I said, oh, no, sorry, I'm not in the mood, maybe later on. And he got really, really mad. I mean, really, really mad. And he told me, what do you mean by that? I will never forget what he said. He said, after all I pay you, after all I give you, if I say I want this, why can't you give me? Remember that this is the one time I'm saying no. And I said, pay me? You use the word pay me. What are you talking about? He said, oh, all the money, whenever you ask me, I give you. I didn't know it was payment, honestly speaking. I thought it was my man being intentional and my man being caring. I didn't know I was a paid whore. And I said, you know what? If you're looking for someone who you can pay and then they would do whatever you want sexually, you should subscribe to OnlyFans. Yes. You subscribe to OnlyFans, you can send in your requests. It's a job. People do that. But you're not going to turn me into something I'm not. So goodbye. Goodbye. Even people who do OnlyFans have had those. They say, oh, no, I don't take this request. Talk more me your girlfriend when this is not a transactional relationship. So it was at that point I realized that in his mind it was a transactional relationship. I thought it was my man being loving, but to him, he was providing me with money so that I could always do whatever he wanted. So I said, no, I'm not gonna always have phone sex with you whenever you want, or do whatever you want whenever you want. I'm allowed to say no. If we get married, does that mean I'm not allowed to say no? Every time you turn around, you can just have access to my body? If a man has a problem with me exercising my body autonomy, they have to go. They have to go. I don't care how you cry, you say, oh, you're stabbing me. Get the fuck out. Outside immediately. I shut the door to that bullshit. Thirdly, physical boundaries, right? Thirdly, social access. I maintain my full independence, access to my family and friends. Yes, if a man tries to keep my relationship, he's not protecting me, he's isolating me. If a man comes and says, oh, your mother will not come and visit you, your siblings will not come and visit you, you will not be calling them every day. But your own go dey come house. Your own go dey come house. Your siblings go dey come house. My own no go come house. For what? I can travel. I've seen cases where women say, oh, their husbands say, oh no, you cannot travel to go and visit your family. You cannot go to Christmas with your family this year. Even though the wife tries to compromise and say, oh, let me go for 2 days and let me come to you. He say, no, you're not married though. You cannot go there. Your mother cannot visit you. You're okay. Goodbye. Goodbye. So for me, these are the 3 things that I use in like ensuring that I keep safe. I have my money. I keep independent over my body, and I must maintain a relationship with my family members. So I hope that we're consuming these books and movies for fun, for entertainment. Let's enjoy the drama, but let's not ignore the red flags that they present. Let us not allow the Prince Charming narrative blind us to our own words and our own safety. To our own words and our own safety. I want to hear from you. Have you reread a book from your childhood and realized it was actually super problematic? Let's talk about it on Olivia Sose Reads. You can leave a comment down below from wherever you're listening, on whatever platform you're listening, or on social media at Olivia Sose Reads, or on Instagram. You can leave a comment. Until next time, let's keep our books open. You need to open your eyes, shine your eyes. Shine your eyes. Bye. See you next time.